Live. We're live, we're live, we're live, we're live, we're live. Hey, 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 guys. It's Old Man G here, back again with another Red Devil Studio live podcast. And I'm joined again by my compadres. Introduce yourselves.
Josh.
Shawnee.
Awesome. And we have a lot of stuff to talk about. So we're going to be talking about, obviously, Liverpool versus United. What that means for Liverpool. We're going to be talking about the issues around Manchester United Football Club. We're also going to be talking about Chelsea, Arsenal, and Spurs and how their seasons have been going. Then we're going to go in and we're going to talk about European football, specifically Erling Haaland and what the potential that he has at Dortmund and beyond. We'll follow that up by talking a bit about Barcelona, the league, and Valverde, and how that's going to work out. Then we'll talk about Serie A, Juventus, and PSG, and then following that, we'll then proceed to talk about the upcoming game week, Tuesday and Wednesday games, and what we predict the scores will be. So I'm basically just going to get stuck into it. We are going to start with Liverpool versus United, and this guy, Mo Salah.
Big boy Mo.
Liverpool. Shout out Don Wagner. Shout out Don Wagner. Thank you for joining us. Liverpool versus Manchester United. 2-0 to Liverpool. Obviously, as a United fan, I'm bitterly disappointed. And it just really, I think for me, in this game, it just highlighted. It almost came to the roast. I always knew Liverpool were better than United right now. They are. That's the fact. But I think for me, this game just sort of highlighted the vast gulf that there is between where United are and where Liverpool are now. It's an incredible gulf. And, you know, I think we fought. And I think we were at least trying to be competitive, and for that I give the lads a lot of credit. We didn't just just sit back and do absolutely nothing. We tried to fight, we tried to play, we tried to give everything. But it wasn't enough. But I guess the question, because we're going to talk about United in the next section, is are Liverpool just unstoppable? Are they unstoppable? Unstoppable in the league, clearly. Unstoppable in the Champions League, they're unstoppable. I'll pass this over to Shawnee. Shawnee, what do you think?
Well, first of all, congratulations to Man United, because I think it's maybe United gave us the toughest game of the season. The only other time that I think that we particularly struggled was maybe against Napoli. So just a really, really tough nail biter right to the end from both parties. I think nail biter for Man United, first of all, because you could have got an equaliser, and a nail biter from Liverpool because we needed to hang on. Because there was a brief period of maybe them 15 minutes where United were really, really up for it and were looking like the better team. Liverpool defended really well. That Martial chance, I think, was really well dealt with in terms of, Martial could have done better, but Van Dijk coming across there, he knew Van Dijk was coming across him, put him under pressure a little bit, and he obviously blazed it over. So congratulations to Man United. I think they gave us the toughest game that we've had this season in the Premier League. So full credit there. Are we unstoppable? Well, I mean, it just depends on, you see someone like Leicester City. I really want to take full credit, or I want Liverpool to take full credit in their downfall, because since they faced Liverpool, they haven't looked the same at all. I think we've just completely rocked their confidence, and you can see that in the table now. They're just sinking. Unstoppable. I don't. Unstoppable. I mean, you could come across somebody else that's up for it, like some of the we still got to go to Stamford Bridge, say. So, you don't know. Someone like Lampard could rally the troops. He's got experience in that field. But I'd like to think now that we're in a position where we can just go into any game with just full confidence. Unstoppable. We'll see. We'll see at the end of the season.
I think the question is, before I go to Team Sky Joshua, just to see, is that like, for me, the is who actually can beat Liverpool, and this is that because everyone, when I've asked this and I've been in previous podcasts and people said, they can't slip up, etc. Right? Well, okay, but which is the team that will be able to do it? Because right now, to be honest, the only team I can see possibly doing it, is or stumbling is maybe like the upcoming Wolves game. We'll preview that at some point. Shout out to more as well. So in the comments, good to see you guys. Dog and Rang even more. But that's the only thing I can really see. And when it comes to Champions League, again, all the other teams in European football, again, they have their weaknesses. I can't see a strong enough team in Europe right now. Whether that's Real Madrid, Barcelona. To be honest, Barcelona look weaker than they do than last season. So 4-0 with blessing, compared to Arsenal teams. So, but I guess the point made is that and I guess this is where we go into Team Sky Joshi. This is something different. It looks like this is a potential invincible thing. And does that concern you at all regarding Invincibles, Arsenal, all that stuff? Is this something unique that we're seeing here at Joshi?
No, because Arsenal are going to beat them at the Emirates.
I think is that the last? Someone told me that's the last game. I think the last game that Liverpool have is against Arsenal.
It's like second to last.
Liverpool will probably, be well ahead in the Champions League. I remember last season, Firmino and Salah got injured, I think, during late on in the season. So they'll probably be thinking about that. If they're so far ahead, they might be resting players. And I think by the time we've got to the end of the season, I think we'll get used to Arteta's playing style. And he's going to be like, listen, I've been at the club. I know how much it means to them for that unbeatable season. We can't let Liverpool go undefeated here. And I think Arsenal are going to, put a beating on them, 2-1. So, but up until then, genuinely, I know Wolves did very well against Liverpool, FA Cup and in the league. Sheffield did well, unlucky. Few teams are unlucky, to be fair, but I can't call it unlucky because Liverpool are champions for a reason, champions of Europe. There's nothing lucky about fighting for 90 plus minutes. Like Liverpool, some teams are like a 60-minute team. Like I would say there's 10 teams who can play all out for 60 minutes and then they give up. And then there's teams who are like 75 and then there are teams who are 90. Liverpool are literally like 90 plus. Do you know what I mean? They don't play until the final whistle. They don't stop until the final whistle blows. They've got late goals against Villa, Leicester, Man United, obviously, a few others. And it's just like, there's nothing. Obviously, Napoli beat them. Napoli did really well.
Yeah.
But Napoli,
that's what
you won't see that happening again.
Yeah, that's what United
or something.
Yeah. I was just saying there. That's what United was doing though. Like they literally fought right to the last minute. Like
you did. Yeah, absolutely. Man United, in my opinion, gave it their all in that match. I remember when Arsenal played you guys last season. I mean, you probably deserved to win. If there was VAR, you would have won. But we gave our all in that game at the Emirates, and we ended up nicking a draw from you guys. Our team last season was better than this Man United team now. That got that draw, but Man United really gave it their all in that match. I think when they put Daniel James on that left, he looked a bit better. Martial was kind of like, and because how your formation was, it was Martial up top, but like it's almost like Martial didn't know what to do when he was up top, and he kept drifting off to the left, which is his best position, to be fair. And he caused Trent and Gomez problem. I don't know if anyone watched the Gary Neville and Jamie Carragher live reaction thing. Neville was fuming when Martial missed that chance. He almost broke his microphone. Hilarious, but yeah, this is probably the best, not just the best team in Europe. Whoever Raymond, they're by far the best team in Europe. Who's even close? I mean, we're talking about best team ever, like one of them. We're talking top 5 best teams ever. Someone was in the comment section was talking about don't compare to Ferdinand to Van Dijk because Ferdinand had 2 Champions Leagues and 6 Premier League titles. I was like, fair enough, but what's going to happen in the next 10 years? Do you think Liverpool are just going to drift away?
Yeah.
They're just going to keep getting better, surely.
Yeah.
They're only going to keep strengthening.
Yeah.
What do you think? Do you think Van Dijk suddenly he's just going to, get the plague or something? And, what's going on there? Like, I think Van Dijk's potentially got the potential if he plays for the next 6 to however many years. He's got the potential to be one of the best centre backs we've ever seen.
They're saying that about it, like, I mean, and I think and fair play, but I mean, obviously, Liverpool have Van Dijk has this, like, obviously, Valverde has won multiple Premier League titles, but he'll be on there. Van Dijk will be on his way there because if Liverpool win the Champions League again this season, we already have 2 back-to-back Champions Leagues, potentially a treble. So and then you've got to be having that conversation. Raymond Moore's actually saying, will Liverpool win the Champions League this season and complete the historic season? What do you think, Shawnee?
Raymond Moore, you're asking some good questions, my friend.
Yeah. There's definitely potential there. Like, I mean, we always do well in the Champions League no matter what. The testament to that is we didn't have as good as a team in 2005. I don't think, but we went on to win it. Then went to the final the following season. We've been to the Champions League final since then. So it doesn't really matter what team we have. Liverpool just seem to be, like do really well in the Champions League. There was only maybe a brief period when under Kenny Dalglish I forget the England manager's name.
Roy Hodgson.
Yeah, Roy Hodgson. Sorry, yeah, where there really was just a complete cop out to the Champions League. But we generally, on average, we do brilliantly in the Champions League. And the testament, once again, I say that we have a better team in 2005. I think it's leaps and bounds better than the team that we had in 2005. It's literally a team where you think to yourself, okay, if we had Gerrard, who would he replace?
Sorry.
Yep, no worries. So yeah, could we win the Champions League this season? Yeah, like I'd like to just wrap up the league first. So like I'd maybe use the Champions League as a resting period for maybe some of our more important players. Maybe not like resting like superstars like Mane or something like that, but definitely if Kate is back and fit and fighting, Fabinho, them kind of players that are important throughout the period of the season, making sure that they just aren't strained by the games. Because right now we've got a double game week this week, so like we've got Wolves on Thursday, then we've got the FA Cup, and then we've got West Ham on Wednesday. That's a short period. On top of that, then we're going to continue that because obviously Champions League is going to come in again. It's going to be tough. Like I don't know. Like there's got to be some sort of, hopefully Keita and Fab are Fab. He obviously came on for Liverpool against Man United in the last game. But once again, I think he was strained. He got that injury because he was just playing every single game. And I don't know, like with the FA Cup and you're talking about trebles. To win the treble would literally be a huge achievement. I mean, that you'd literally have to look at the players and like go, wow, you guys,
Well, I mean,
just unbelievable, isn't it?
As I said, the biggest concern for me of the Liverpool this season with just how they are is that you have a squad that has the potential, to. Okay, so one, They go unbeaten. So 3 things: they go unbeaten all season potentially,
Mm-hmm.
win a treble potentially, and then to top it off, they have the highest points tally like ever in like football history essentially, or Premier League or whatever. So those achievements, so if that happens, then the argument will have to come out that this potentially will be or could be potentially the best team ever, almost.
It's like, it sounds weird because obviously I'm an Arsenal fan, but like with the Invincible, sorry, they had a lot of draws. Whereas Liverpool are finding a way to win like almost every game. Obviously, they drew that one with Man United, fair enough. But Lallana got the equaliser. You know what I mean? It's like there's something different about this team. It's almost as if they don't remember. Shawnee saying last year is like, sorry, at the first podcast, I think it was like, okay, there was only difference between us and City last season was them beating us. And it was like, oh, so like, what does he say to them? Like, don't lose. But like, what if he did? And it's like, and they've just took it on board because it doesn't look like any players are unhappy. Even you've got people coming off the bench, like Origi sitting on the bench, who's done his bit. Ox, he got subbed off at Man United. Okay, he looked unhappy when he came off, but that it's almost like, well, that'll just fire him up. There's no, I don't see like any Liverpool player in that whole team who looks visibly unhappy. You don't see people, speak out against this and this. You don't see all the theatrics. You see it maybe like Man United and Arsenal, some of the players that we've, maybe like Ozils and Pogba's type of thing. Some of the things that we've seen. You don't see any of that at Liverpool. It's just like it's like a completely professional club, like at the minute.
And that's and the key element before we move on, because we're going to move on to other talks. We've still got a lot to talk about. Is that for me is from top to bottom.
Yeah.
So from the top, so that's not just the players. It's, as you said, it's the manager. It's the ownership. It's just everything from top to bottom seems to be done in a professional way. So even when Raymond Moore is saying about Minamino and why hasn't he started against United and stuff like that, and I'll go and my clips in bounce out is that because it's a professionally run club. Because unlike United, where they'll throw in Daniel James in because he can't be bothered to sign like an actual true winger, like Klopp did with Fabinho. It's like, give him time, going to ease him in, and then eventually he'll come in and he'll come good for us. The way they got him, the way they're bedding him. That's how a football club should do things. Like without any rush or any hesitation, doing things properly. But unfortunately, compared to the likes of Arsenal and United, it's Liverpool. They just run better from top to bottom.
We weren't always. There was under Brendan Rodgers. He struggled with the board. He was struggling. He was like the Balotelli situation and Ricky Lambert. He didn't really want them players. It was just like they were just bought, and it was just like, we want you to do something with this team. And Brendan Rodgers was kind of like, no, I don't want these players. But he said in an interview, well, I'll just do it. I'll just give it a go. I'll just try it. So like when Klopp came in, he basically said, listen, I know this is how you do things, but not with me. Like I'm not signing unless I have the final say on the transfers. And that's kind of where I think things started going right, when Klopp was like going, listen, I want the final say. I want to build my team. It's got to be my team. It can't be somebody else's team. So yeah, I don't know, like Man United, yeah, fair enough. There's a situation there now where I think it will take a couple of years, or 2, 3, 4 years to turn it around and really start looking like a solid team. Not just on the pitch, but throughout the whole system at United. But it's not impossible. It's not like it's going to stay like that forever. I think they can get it right. It's just going to take time. It took time with Liverpool. You know, when Klopp took over, he was basically saying, "Look, your system is good, but I can't play with your system. I need to be in charge, and I need to be doing this." And don't forget, 10 years prior to that, we had a period of them 10 years with Roy Hodgson, with Dalglish, with Brendan Rodgers, where it was a bit topsy turvy.
Yeah,
we weren't finishing Champions League every season. We weren't competing at the highest level every season. It took time. It took time to turn it around, and part of that was keeping the managers on for a little longer. I'm sure we're going to be talking about Ole Gunnar Solskjaer at some stage during this podcast.
Getting to Ole. We are getting to Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. In fact, let's. I'll just quickly stop. So let's actually transition to the next segment where we are going to be talking about Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Give me 2 seconds. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Is this the right?
There was some passionate talks in the studio. Actually, I don't know whether you guys picked up on that when Jamie Carragher and Graham Souness and they were sort of chiming in on the Ole Gunnar Solskjaer situation, or generally like what was happening at United, and it was quite interesting. I thought.
I think that's actually a good place to start. Actually, sorry, just so I get the image up about Ole, because there was Jamie Carragher, I think, was essentially sort of along the lines of saying, well, hang on for a second. Yeah, this is it here. Sorry, there we go. So yeah, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. This guy, he's been at the club obviously for more than a year now.
16 months, I believe.
And it's the situation is. The situation at United is very strange because on the positive side, the 3 things you can see are: 1, especially after that performance, you can see that this is a team that clearly is playing for the manager. Because if they weren't playing for the manager, they wouldn't have played that way. They wouldn't have played that at all. It just wouldn't have happened.
Yeah.
First thing. The second thing is that he has slowly but surely promoted a bit of youth. He has gone with some of the in quote deadwood. He is trying to sort of almost deal with a lot of the mistakes and issues that have been plagued United the last couple of years. So it's positive. However, the problem is, and we've seen for a while, is that in terms of how players have improved, we don't really see that at Manchester United. So that's the thing. He doesn't seem to be getting backed from the board and up top, unlike Liverpool have. And the combination of those 2 things means that we have players, so that are constantly playing games over and over again, all the time, and getting injuries. Case in point, Marcus Rashford, who's now out for 2 or 3 months. So I'm just going to point to. I'm just curious what you guys sort of think. So because where essentially do United? Where do you think United sort of go from here? Because there's still, because obviously we'll come to speak about Chelsea in a second, because Chelsea surprisingly lost to Newcastle. We're still only 5 points from top 4, and obviously if the Gunners can do us a favour midweek and beat Chelsea and we beat Burnley, we'll only be 2 points. So I think top 4 is still an option, but there just seems to be a lot of issues at United right now. And what do you guys think? And obviously let us know in the comments as well.
I think. Obviously, we just heard about Cavani and in the transfer request. It'd be a big statement if I was saying to Sean earlier. It'd be a big statement if United just picked him up, bang, throw in 50, 60 million, throw that at PSG. I'm sure they'd accept that. Because Cavani is world class, and he has been world class for a while. I know he's probably he might be in his 30s now.
I think now, yeah.
But 40, 50 million for someone that good. Obviously, you sold Lukaku and a few other forwards. Marcus Rashford's now for 2 to 3 months. I don't think, it sounds weird. I know Martial, Gary Neville has said, he's like ice and, in front of goal and stuff like that. But like, he almost like plays better with Rashford, if that makes sense. Like, because they can interchange and, one can go left and one can go through the middle. And, but like getting someone like Cavani, I think would be perfect for Man United right now. I think that's probably they're like one or two signings. I think they will get top four, but I think they need to sign somebody this transfer window because players are just going to keep getting injured. Keep on playing Daniel James every week. Wan-Bissaka, Gary Neville was saying he looked dead on his feet. And when's the last time you heard that? I know they were playing Liverpool, but when's the last time you heard Wan-Bissaka was tired? Obviously Luke Shaw looked good, and Brandon Williams are there, so that position's fine. You've got a few centre backs, but everywhere else, Pogba's out, McTominay's out. Fred's playing every game. It's only going to get more and more with the amount of game. FA Cup, Europa League, etc., Carabao Cup. Oh well, yeah. I mean, you're still in it, but 3-1, wasn't it? So still in it, still in the tie. But yeah, it's just you need to, like you said, there's probably not good communication with the board, and it's nowhere near as professional as we see at Liverpool and other clubs. But I think someone, even if it's a 10 mil, 20 mil signing, Tottenham have recently been doing great business. They got rid of their manager, got a new one straight away. Got how many 2 or 3 transfers in the summer? Just signed somebody in January. Fernandez, I think.
Gidson, Fernandez.
Yeah. So, why is it that United are just seem to be slow in doing everything? I mean, same with Arsenal, to be honest. Although they did well in the summer, I'll give them that. That's probably because they had more time. Probably been thinking. These people have probably been on our transfer list for the past 2 years. Anyway, but yeah. So I think basically it's just slowness. Everything is just Ollie. I think Ollie's just putting on a brave face. If I'm honest with you, I think he's probably not the type of person to come on public speak about things and how he's unhappy with this and that. Ollie is a professional. We know that, and he loves the club. But like, I think the same as you, old man G. Like, he's not. I feel like the board has not got 100% faith in him. It's like, I'm not saying that Poch would come, but like if someone like Poch did come, I know for a fact they'd be like, okay, here you go. You know what I mean? Because they did it with Mourinho, right? And it's almost as if like there's something that they don't trust about Ollie, or
I'm not sure if it's even trust. I feel like, and we'll come to it in a second. I feel like it's more that because at the end of the day, Ollie, this is the dream job. This is a dream job, and Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, irrespective of what happens, at the end of the day, as a professional, he doesn't obviously want to get sacked. So he wants to be in the dream job for as long as possible, and he wants Manchester United to succeed. So because of that, he's not then going to then start saying bits and pieces about the board. He's not going to cuss them. He's not going to do. He's not going to do that. So he's going to want to. So if Ed Woodward or the likes are sort of saying, this is what I want you to say, you say this, you do that, then that's just the way it's just going to be. So even when he's talking about we're not going to be taken for a ride financially wise, in my mind I'm thinking, what does the finance have to do with, like, what's your, obviously yes, taking the piss of making like 200 million thing, that's one thing, but at the same time, like, what actually is, that's not your concern. Your concern as a manager is trying to get players in and utilize the ones you have to win games. And if you need players because your squad is thin, which you do, you go to people in charge. You get it, because we're told multiple times from him that the manager of Manchester United is in charge of transfers. And Woodward has also said, the money is there, the resources there. You've got our backing. That's what we've been told multiple times. The evidence is that isn't happening, because anyone can clearly see that United need to sign at least 3 players in this January transfer window, and they're not. They're not. Shawnee, what do you think?
Yeah, it's just too expensive. That's the thing. That's what I think they're thinking. I think they're probably thinking, let's just see if we can ride the season out.
Too expensive. Yeah. Manchester United are the richest club in England. Okay, they're the richest club in England. And the money, and this is what frustrates me, is that the money that Manchester generate, it's not Rasmus A, shout out to Rasmus A if you wanted to get involved in the podcast. The link is posted up if you want to get involved. Just click on that link. We don't see anything other than rumors and Raymore. I know sacking Ollie right now is pointless, but we need a manager that can shout and demand or do his job, which is just to get players that he wants. Ollie should be fierce with Woodward. You know, I agree. I mean, I just think that just finishing a point with Ollie Woodward is that where is the money going? Because it's not like Man City or even Chelsea, where the money came from the owners. They're billionaires, you know, multi-million billionaires. And they're putting their money into the club to turn it into something. The money that Manchester United into the club comes from the worldwide fan base. It comes from merchandise. It comes from advertising.
Oh yeah, honestly, I've no issue with you guys being a wealthy club. That wasn't what I was saying. I was saying that you're paying, you know, an extra 20-25% on top of that player in January because they know Man United is desperate, rather than what you would do if you just wait until the summer and be a little bit patient. So I don't know whether they're thinking to themselves, okay, let's have a look at Cavani or even Bruno Fernandes. I know that it's just a rumor and it's just like sort of it's starting to get more prominent that he is a United target in the mainstream as well, though. So even Bruno Fernandes, Sporting are going to look at you and just be like, all right, let's milk this a little bit, because we don't want to let Bruno Fernandes go in January, and United really, really want him. Let's just, you know, chuck an extra 20, 25, 30% on top of the price that our asking price for him, what we'd normally on top of what we'd normally want in the summer. And I don't know whether United is a little cautious of that and think to themselves, well, hold on a minute, it doesn't make sense. Shall we just give Ollie? Well, what I'm hoping they're thinking is, shall we just, well, you know, coming from a little fan hoping, but what would make sense is just like go, look, Ollie, we'll see if we can get a few deals done here in the January transfer window. If not, listen, you're just going to have free reign of who you want in the summer. You build what you like. Like I said in a few podcasts ago, listen, Ollie, we're backing you. Whatever you need in the summer, let's get it done. You just build your team, and then in a season or two time, if we've given you everything that you wanted and it's still not working out, then you know you got to go.
But why did they back him? Why didn't they back him in the summer just gone? You know, one of my commentators actually said, I think it was actually Rasmus A. You know, so Tottenham was saying it seems to be easier to leave United than it is for people to come in. Actually, into like within like 2 days, I want to leave. Within a week, Milan, and you're like,
yeah, right. Well, this is easy.
I mean, the question I think is, you know, if this January transfer window is really where you want to do the main part of your business, I think it's just going to be, if it's tough convincing the backroom to spend money in the summer, to spend money in January is going to be even harder, I think. So, like, I think the only chance Ollie has is just to ride this out to the summer, and so when he can spend, you know, hopefully whatever it is that he wants on players that are just going to have a normal asking price, rather than it is a little bit panic buying, which I think United need a little bit of panic buying, especially with Rashford.
We don't have a choice because we don't have a choice. We don't have a choice because we're in a situation like this is because at the end of the day, as a saying that we for one, we're the richest club in England anyway. So money really shouldn't be a thing, because the question for me is, if that money is not going on players, then where's the money going?
Yeah.
Even this summer, we let Fellaini go, Herrera's gone, so those off their wages. We sold Lukaku, Valencia.
I know that. Like I say, just if I can quickly go back to your original question, the original question you asked me is what do I think about this January transfer window? Do you think we should do any business in it? If the question is where's the money going? I mean, that is the real question, isn't it? I mean, if they're doing some dodgy business in the back room at United, then you need to start protesting and get them buggers out of there, because you know, if it's really a question of, all right, fair enough, we don't really have any money to spend right now, then you can start like saying, what do you mean we're the wealthiest club in Europe? What do you mean there's no money?
What's that? I just think it's bad business, because like the Harry Maguire thing, it took, I don't know if they were debating over 2 million, 3 million, 5 million, whatever it was, but it took too long to get him, and by then that's all they signed. You know,
it's strange. You know
I mean, it's just like it took that long to get a Harry Maguire. Like, all right, he's good, but
we just don't seem to.
How many people signed like 3 players in that time?
Yeah, we don't seem to be able to sign. And we'll move on a second on business. We don't seem to be able to sign. Like, even my frustration with Jones Winter is that it is not that the board, it's not that the team did not know. Going into the January transfer window, we had 2 midfield players injured, and on top of that, we had sold 2 midfield players in the preceding season and hadn't replaced them. Yeah. So a logical board, or how will know, we should have, like Liverpool. Oh, Minamino, £7.5 million. Boom, gone. He's been signed. He's ready to play in January. So the actual negotiations, the actual getting the players in, stuff like that, all of that should have been done before January, so they'd be ready to come in the January transfer window to play, so they wouldn't have to do anything. Instead, because for some reason United can only do 1 transfer at a time, we tried to get Haaland, and we'll talk about Haaland later, and that failed. And then it was like, right, panic. So we'll try and get someone else. Let's try and get Bruno Fernandes now. You know, it's a joke. It's a joke. It's a joke.
I totally understand it. Like, you guys are really, really frustrated. Once again, I do know how you guys feel, purely because there was a period a while ago where Liverpool had the same kind of thing. We just weren't buying anyone. There were players leaving, and it was kind of frustrating, because it's just like, well, what are we doing here? Are we like, we're, back in 2005 we won the Champions League. Now all of a sudden we can't get anyone to come to this club, and it's just bad business. And yeah, you just I don't really have the answer. It's just one of them things that I guess Ollie just has to fight through and figure out.
I mean, what's crazy, right? If they get top 4, like, all will be forgotten, and then they'll probably build. Like, if he gets top 4, there's no way they're not giving him whatever he wants, to be honest, in this climate. Like, I mean, Leicester, we're doing really well. I'm not saying they're going to come out of the top 4, but their spot could be up for grabs. It's only halfway through the season. City is they're definitely going to finish in the top 4. There's no question about that. But like, I would say 3 and 4 are like genuinely up for grabs. Wolves and Sheffield are strong. We know that, but there's points to be got, and I think, for me, if Ollie gets top 4, all is forgotten, and they'll just like shut up and take my money. Here you go, Ollie. So, but yeah, that's we've been talking about Ollie for a while now.
Yeah, we have.
What's the next one?
Move on. We'll just read the comments out. So again, as Ram says, it's logical because we're a business, not a football club. So it makes sense that it's easier to leave if a fee is involved, or even without a fee, it's going to free up some of the wage bill. It's fair enough. And then Raymond Moore says, United right now are dying. We are not going to negotiate about the price of a medicine when we desperately need it right now. No such patients negotiate the medicine price with the doctor, and that's fair enough. That is fair enough. I completely agree. But we are dying, So
hold on, you guys are 5th, challenging for that 4th spot. Yeah. I mean, the difference between you and Chelsea isn't massive.
So 6 points.
You could get that 4th place, if you keep plugging away. It's not like if that really was the case, and you go from 5th to 6th to 7th, to 8th to 9th. Okay, fair enough. Then I don't understand. But because you were like you were hovering around sort of 10th place for a while, and then all of a sudden you just picked it up out of nowhere, and now you're fighting for that 4th position.
I'm not sure if we picked it up, or whether a lot of teams around us were very bad. So as in Arsenal, obviously, you know, when well, actually, let's move on. Let's quickly go to our next segment. Actually,
Okay.
Just quickly.
There's a lot of good teams around you. I mean, come on. Wolves have done fantastically.
Yeah, they
brilliant strike force.
They have.
Dare I say, better than United strike force. Just you've overtaken them. You're now in pole position for that 4th spot. You're doing well. There's no doubt about it. You did brilliantly against Liverpool. I mean, Ollie can get in the dressing room just like, hey, lads, let's do this in the next game. If we do this at what we did against Liverpool, and we play that for the next 10 games, we'll be well up there. We'll be in Chelsea spot right now. So yeah, I think you guys are doing better than what you think.
Fair enough. Well, let's move on to our next segment regarding Chelsea, Arsenal, Spurs. So we're gonna briefly just talk about Chelsea, then Arsenal and Spurs before we just move into a European football.
And it's Arsenal. Arsenal FC. Sorry.
We will talk about Arsenal because I think it's interesting because these two teams in particular. But let's talk about Chelsea because obviously Chelsea lost to Newcastle. To be fair, they did deserve. I think they also deserved to win the game. Let's be real. It was a smack grab. But you know they've been losing games, and obviously with Arsenal coming up, I think they are going to Stamford Bridge. Are they not? Is that where they're going? I think. You know, do you think that are Chelsea struggling? Does Lampard need help? You know, what's going on? You know, so like what's going on at Chelsea?
Yeah, is it you taking this one, Sean?
You go for it, man. I mean, it's one of your London rival clubs, so you pour your heart out.
Chelsea. It's so weird because a couple of podcasts ago, we were pretty much like Chelsea are flying. Obviously they lost to Man United, and then was their next game Liverpool? No, it wasn't Liverpool. I feel like they didn't do well in their next game after that because they got battered by United, and then they played someone else, and I don't think they won.
Well, go on.
Huh? Then after that, like they were just flying, like beating teams 4-5-0. You know, they get the loss here and there, but now like their form, that form was temporary. Like they lost to Bournemouth at home. You know, these home losses are strange, which is why I'm hoping, you know, Arsenal can do the business. Obviously, there's some revenge there too that I'm sure that they'll want. Yeah, you know, for the bloody farce of a game that was with the ridiculous officials. But yeah, like you know, Chelsea will go and beat City 3-1 one game, and then they'll go and lose to Bournemouth, and then they'll go and lose to Bournemouth and Norwich back to back. Like, you know, obviously, you know, Chelsea, you know, were transfer banned, and you know, I'm not actually sure if they've signed anyone yet, but I know they're getting players back. Hudson-Odoi just come back, and I think Ruben Loftus-Cheek is on his way back. Rudiger came back as well, so maybe he's kind of thinking, I don't need to strengthen.
Go
on.
Sorry to interrupt. I've just got this up, so just because obviously the screen share helping, and so this is basically like if you can see it now, you can see this is from December, and this is basically some of Chelsea's last results in the league. So Premier League. So if we just obviously go back, so 29th of December. Actually, let's even go even further back. Actually, let's go to the beginning of. Where are we? So yeah, let's go back to the beginning of December. Sorry. So 4th of December, 2-1 to Chelsea Villa. But then 7th of December, if you can see this, Everton beat Chelsea 3-1.
Mm-hmm.
Then Sunday, the 14th of December, Bournemouth beats Chelsea at home. Away, 1-0. Then 22nd of December, Chelsea beat the Spurs, and we'll talk about Spurs in a second. Then 26th of December, Boxing Day, Chelsea lose to Southampton. Then 29th of December, Chelsea just beat Arsenal 2-1. Then January, obviously, they draw Brighton. Then 11th of January, they beat Burnley. And then obviously following they beat Newcastle. So that shows inconsistency, does it not?
Yeah, it's definitely inconsistent. I mean, that's the thing. The Premier League generally over that Christmas period, and especially January, that every team apart from Liverpool has been inconsistent. It really had sort of the Christmas period take a toll on everybody, because you can tell that even Wolves, Sheffield, them kind of teams are starting to lose games. So I don't know whether Chelsea is just suffering from that a little bit, because they don't look like a bad team. But yeah, it is. You're totally right. Absolutely spot on. It's a little bit up and down. However, just everyone's been like that. Arsenal, Sheffield, Wolves.
Well, Rasmus A makes this comment and says, is the EPL going to become La Liga 2.0?
What does that mean?
So essentially, I'm assuming a comment Rasmus said is that you mean that is it going to basically be dominated essentially by one or two teams for decades, effectively?
I don't think that's true at all. I mean, because in the Liga, for the past 10 years, you've had Atletico, Barcelona, Real, and then other teams have kind of disrupted that as well, like Valencia's and Sevilla's and things like that. But like Liverpool are the only. Well, Man City were the dominant team, and now Liverpool are probably going to be the dominant team. But like below that, it's kind of like up for grabs, because next season I genuinely think teams like Wolves are going to get so much better, especially if they have a good run in Europa League, fill them with way more confidence. Sheffield are going to get better. I believe Arsenal are going to get better. Chelsea are probably going to get even better. So like this year has been, I mean, how much chopping and changing has there been? Tottenham have been new manager. Chelsea got a new manager. Arsenal got a new manager. Man United in a transitional period. Like, I think that the Premier League's going to be maybe like the Bundesliga, how the Bundesliga has been this year, next year, if that makes sense. Minus Liverpool, who I think are just going to probably dominate unless something significant happens. But La Liga 2.0, nah, Rasmus. I think don't disrespect the Premier League like that.
Yeah, I don't know. Like the you could look at maybe down to 7th, maybe even 8th place, could still potentially get that 4th spot.
Right.
That's not like 2 or 3 teams. That's like that's like 10 teams that are fighting out. Sorry, I left Arsenal out there. Arsenal 10th, aren't they? I mean, even if Arsenal get like even if Arsenal get like, say Arsenal get out of the next 5 games, they get 3 wins and 2 draws. I think Arsenal would probably take that. You'd probably get yourself into a really, really good position just behind United somewhere. And that's how close it is from 10th place to that 4th spot. So I think that's testament. If I can also say, I know this is not a good comparison, and I shouldn't really say it because like Premier League and La Liga is completely different. But I reckon Wolves and Sheffield could go to La Liga and absolutely smash 90% of the team.
I agree. I completely agree.
So I'm not really too sure. Like, I know what he's saying there, and it's a good point, because at the moment, Man City and Liverpool are maybe the sort of squads, the squads and the teams that you're looking at and think to yourself, okay, we really got to be careful with it. But also Leicester are starting to be like that, and you don't know what Arsenal's going to do in the summer. You don't know what United's going to do in the summer. And all of a sudden, you've got Wolves, Sheffield, Tottenham, Arsenal, United, Chelsea, City, Leicester City, Liverpool. It's great, man. This is I think it's so much fun to watch. It's so much fun to watch to just look at the potential of who could be in that fourth spot, in third spot. You know, it's a good season this season. I reckon. I mean, I'm made up that
You
obviously.
would say that obviously it's as a Liverpool.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
great,
yeah,
it's a great
absolutely.
season. It's like, yeah, you know, it's
Yeah,
fair enough.
But I'm particularly talking about fourth spot. It's exciting. It's exciting. I think from if somebody was to look in at the Premier League now and just like go, you know what, I might just watch some football like this season. He'd be like thinking to himself, oh my goodness, this is actually quite exciting. Like if Arsenal win the next 3 games and you don't know what's happening above them, they're like in a good position to get into that Champions League spot. United are still sort of battling out for it as well. It's exciting. It's pretty cool. Like it's quite exciting.
Well, let's quickly just move on, and we're going to talk about this guy just briefly and Arsenal. I'll quickly just go to team to Joshi, Team Takage.
Just Josh.
Just Josh. Is Arteta a flop?
Okay. The next one. Got me a bit surprised.
Is Arteta a flop?
I mean, how many games has he had?
You tell me.
Fifth game.
5th game, and he's a flop. I mean, he's only lost 1
Okay.
against Chelsea, where we probably should have won that game.
It was a great game.
Bloody, he's got some filthy players in his team, which I'm sure he'll like to get rid of in the summer. No, I think he's doing very well, especially. It's different if a lot of teams do have a manager bounce, but those teams, how can I say this? Like, they don't have to change that much. Like it's more of a for Arsenal players, because these players are pretty damn good. Like we have if Aguero wasn't in the league and Kane, then they'd only be talking about Aubameyang. Do you know what I mean? He's that good. You know, Ozil, you know, he's passed it a little bit. He's got one of the best CDMs, I believe, in Lucas Torreira, and also one of the best goalkeepers. However, you look at that side and compare it to like any of the sides that are above us right now. Like as an 11 against 11, we'd have a good go, but what Arteta's had to do is change the whole ethos, because we've been players like Ozil have been coasting. We've been letting our best players go. A lot has gone wrong in the last decade, you know, and a decade plus. You know, look at the players who have left who've just completely disrespected the club. It's never been on like good terms that they seem to have left, you know. So Arteta hasn't just had to come and get rid of the playing style, which we were. Well, let me just have a look at this comment. Arsenal United need some deep surgery that no matter what they do in the summer, they are streets behind Liverpool and Man City. That's what I'm saying. So what I'm saying about Arteta, what he's had to do is almost like start from the drawing board. So what it looks like right now, okay, we've got a few draws. We won 1 game. Rest have been draws and 1 loss. But on the surface, it looks meh. But like, what single person has said that Arsenal don't look like completely different since Arteta has joined? Okay, we haven't won our games, and I don't expect us to finish in the top 4. Why should we? You know, we're 10th. You know, and there's much better clubs above us, in my opinion. It's not about everyone's spoiled these days and they want instant results. It's not about that. Like Klopp, if anybody told Liverpool fans or anyone that Klopp would have had a Champions League and a whatchamacallit, and probably a Premier League this season, by his 4th season, they'll be like, yeah, right, this guy, like, look what he's done in his first season, nothing. Do you know what I mean? There were so many doubters, but look what he's done. I'm not saying Arteta is going to be like that. I'm just saying it takes time for all these things. And I think that the way he is as a person, like, he's smart, man. Like, I don't know, there's something about him. you don't be under Pep for that long without studying what he does and talking and getting to know him, and even them bantering off each other and stuff like that. Like I think he knows what he's doing, man. But he just needs time. Yeah.
Fair enough. That's a long expose. Fair enough. No, I think that's reasonable. So, and I don't think there's much else to be said. I think it's just the fact that Arsenal's positioning and where they are, being obviously 10th, and because if we're looking at it, what do you think these are ideal circumstances this season? Because there's possibility that Arsenal will not even finish in the Europa League places. And then you're then thinking, okay, going to win the Europa League, so, and if that doesn't work out, then, Arsenal are not going to be in Europe at all next season, in which case, what is the plan? What's the future? Do you think that Arsenal should just focus on,
I mean,
or, what?
It sounds weird, but like, our Europa League campaign last year was so straightforward. Like, this is with Unai Emery, like, Aubameyang literally carried us through that whole competition.
Yeah.
But it was we breezed past most teams, like, and with not playing well at all. We were conceding every game. I don't think we kept a clean sheet. But when it came to knockout stages, we turned up the gears. Aubameyang scoring like 2+ goals almost every leg. It was incredible. But like, we didn't win it. So the Europa League has kind of just been like a hindrance to us for the past how many seasons? I don't know if you guys get me by that, but like, we've had our focus. Like, if in my opinion, like, a club like Arsenal should be. I know not now we can challenge for a title, but like, we should be challenged for like 2nd or 3rd place. Like, but we can't do that because we're focused on Europa League all the time. And so, like, if we don't win it, fine, and then we finish outside the top 6, top 7, I generally don't mind that, because I'd like to just see how we do in the Premier League, just the Premier League, without all the distractions. Because if we can't do well in the Premier League with only having the Premier League and the FA Cup and the EFL or whatever, then you've got to start looking like, our Arsenal kind of like done. Do you know what I mean? Like, are we just going to be like a mid-table club now? Like, I mean, it's let's be honest, it's happened before. People like Leeds, Nottingham Forest, they were great clubs one time, and they, fell from grace. So,
it's in. So, quick shout out. Yep, thanks you for tuning in, Rasmus A. Nice to you guys, but it's midnight here, so I've got to go to bed. Keep it up. Cheers. Thank you so much, Rasmus A.
See you later.
In. We really I really appreciate you. We all do. Your ongoing support, your interaction. Really appreciate it. All the best. Sorry. So go on, Joshy.
So yeah, it's we gotta. If we don't win the Europa League, which is a strong possibility because you got United, Wolves, Inter, Leverkusen. I don't even want to keep listing more people. Just gets depressing.
Inter Milan.
Yeah, into other clubs. It's
Salzburg,
Ajax. Oh my gosh, gets worse.
Celtic, Rangers, even for goodness.
That's strong. So, I'm. It sounds like, but I'm genuinely not that bothered if we just get knocked out of that. I don't think we will, because there's fight there, and we were finalists last season, so we're not just going to go down without a fight. And I mean, so we just got to. I'm kind of looking at next season already. What right now I'm looking at, and I'm sure Arteta is looking at, is individual and team performances. So he's played a few different ways. He's played Pepe on the right with Laka and Aubameyang, and Aubameyang's being suspended, so he's played Martinelli, Laka, Pepe, variations, Guendouzi, etc., Kolasinac, blah 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 blah, Saka. So he's looking now like which players are gonna be here next season, and which are gonna be playing in the Carabao Cup against bloody Sunderland or someone. He's a smart man, and David Luiz has probably already earned his place next season because he's hasn't really put a foot wrong since Arteta's come. And that's the type of players. That's the type of players that you need. That mentality. Everyone knows David Luiz is not the greatest defender on earth, but like Mustafi could use this opportunity to be like, all right, like Xhaka turned the fans around. Mustafi could do the same, but like not everybody has that mentality. Not everybody's strong enough. Football is a crazy game with all the stuff that goes on, and a lot of stuff that happens behind the scenes. So what he's basically looking for is people with strong mentalities. People who can be like Vincent Kompany and score a 30-yard screamer to win. Man City champions the Premier League last season. You're looking for those type of people in the dressing room. So even players like Ozil might, his time could be up. People like him, Lacazette, even his time could be up. That's me anyway. Enough about that.
Cool. Let's quickly move on because time. There's quite a lot of stuff to go through. So we're just going to quickly, just literally 2 minutes now. I'll just want to say what Sean says. We're going to quickly just talk about Jose Mourinho Spurs basically, and what you think about how Spurs are doing, because yes, they had an initial in quote bounce that was just sort of essentially disintegrated completely. How I honestly can't see. I know that Harry Kane is injured, but have Spurs really
back now.
Jose Mourinho?
Well, they won their last game, didn't they? And then I believe they had 2 draws and 2 losses, which is out of 5 games for someone that last season was in a Champions League final team, is terrible form in the Premier League. So Jose will know that. And Son's back now, just at the right time. So Kane's injured, Son's back in the team. That's what you're looking for. So now you've got 2 players with exceptional pace up front. So you've got Lucas Moura and Son taking helm, and already they've got a win. I think that
they drew against Watford this weekend.
No, they won. They won. They won their last game.
No. They drew with Watford. This weekend they played against Watford. It was at 12:30, and that was where Troy Deeney missed the penalty.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
they would have actually lost the game. It ended, I think, 0-0. I think it did actually.
Yeah. Okay. So it would the last game that they won would have been 5 games ago. So 5 games ago was the last time that they won. Then it was a draw, 2 losses and a draw. Is that right?
Pretty much from what I can see. Pretty much.
Okay. Yeah.
To be honest, his record has not been is been practically similar to if or not arguably worse than Pochettino's.
Yeah. So how many games has Mourinho been in charge now for? So has it been 6 or 7 games now?
It must be a bit more than that. I think we've also including the Champions League games as well, FA Cup games.
Yeah,
at least 10.
At least 10. Okay. So there was the initial bump. I don't know,
Entertainment Guru says start talking about Ronaldo. We're gonna get to Ronaldo. We're gonna don't you worry. Don't you worry. Start talking about. We will get to Ronaldo. We will get to him. We will. We'll get to him. Fleming Boulan will get to European. In fact, actually, you know what? Let's Mourinho. Essentially, the Mourinho Spurs. I just think that I don't think the Spurs are going to sack him. But the way I'm seeing Spurs right now, I really generally don't see the way they play. I just don't see an improvement in Spurs right now.
Pochettino and Mourinho tactics are vastly different, though. So, it's going to take a little while for the team to just get used to that, because the initial bump was probably still under the Pochettino tactics. Pochettino, do they call him Pochettino? So, the initial bump was there, of Spurs were revitalized, and all of a sudden, they're going through a rough patch again. So, Kane now being out, it's going to be tough for them because for some reason there's just like a lackluster or like a confidence boost when Kane is in the team. When he's not in the team, I don't know why. Because Lucas Moura, in my opinion, is faster and just looks like a better striker. It's just that Kane, if he's like the fox in the box, and if he's there and the ball comes to him in the box, it's a goal. However, I don't know. I just think they look like a more complete team if Moura's up front, and now that Son's back in the team, I think watch that space. You know, I don't think they're going to stay like that. I think they will pick it up.
Fair enough. Okay, so with the Premier League football out of the way, we could go with our switch. We actually now switch to European football. And I think the first place to start, and I say this begrudgingly, obviously, as a Manchester United fan, is with this dude right here, Erling Haaland. Erling Haaland. If everyone knows, Dortmund playing the Augsburg, wasn't it? And they were 2-0 down. Dortmund's defense banter as always. This guy comes on, and they basically win the game 5-2, and he scores a hat trick. United were arrogant, I think, in my opinion, regarding not wanting to sign him, pay the fee. I guess the question is, what's this potential of this guy Haaland? Because to sort of score a hat trick on your debut, when so many people thinking that maybe he might have just been a one-trick flop, does this guy have? Could this guy even get up and compete in the next superstar? What do you think?
Yeah, I think you can just tell. I mean, you don't score a hat trick on your debut by fluke. This guy, the way he uses both feet, like his finish. How old is he? 19, 20?
19 now.
Like his finishing is so good. I watched all of those goals, and I know, like at a club like Dortmund, like the way they play with wingers and stuff, like you'll get those opportunities if that makes sense. But man, his finishing is impeccable. I don't think he missed. I think all of his shots went in that he had. He has like a presence about him. You can tell, like the players who aren't that good looking, like Luis Suarez. There's something about him which just like he just seems like a player who will do great things. Like it's funny because this was his debut, but I remember Hazard, Thorgan Hazard, instead of shooting himself, pass it to him. He almost has a bit of like a presence about him. He's quite tall. I think he's over 6 foot.
Yeah, definitely.
And like the way he, the goals he scored against Genk, was it?
Man, I'm getting a lot of Ronaldo. Just 2 seconds, guys. So Enter Maguru says Ronaldo 29 goal in this season. What's your opinion, guys? Let's talk about Sarri's tactics and Dybala performance. Enter and best game of share.
We'll talk about Ronaldo then. Jeez.
Okay, fine. So there's a lot of let us talk about Ronaldo. And but to be fair, this is an open podcast, and we should be flexible as well. So we'll pause the Haaland conversation for now, and we'll switch to him. We'll switch to him. So give me just 2 seconds. So let us talk about.
Not to mention that we were talking about Ronaldo, I think 2 or 3 podcasts ago, and we were actually talking about him being finished. Because if you remember, there was in the papers and the news, they were talking about how he hasn't scored and that he's getting old and maybe this is the last season. Should he hang his boots up at the end of the season? And he's still a fit guy. He's still fantastic on the ball and just brilliant to have in changing rooms. I don't understand that chatter. That sort of stuff drives him to do the performances that he's been doing.
Yeah.
When people like say that's it, he's washed up, he's done, he'll be like saying, "Am I now? Okay, hold my beer," and he'll step up, and he really has done. Juventus, by the way, have exceptionally picked up their form.
Yeah.
5 wins in their last 5 games. Just absolutely smashed it. I mean, I know Lazio have also had 5 wins and 5.
PUBJ Lover also says, love you guys. Talk about CR7 performance in this season. So Sean, just finish your point, and now makes me a point.
Yeah, so I'm just saying, not only has Ronaldo picked it up, but naturally, because of that, Juventus have just absolutely thrived. I think they were sort of hovering around 4th, 5th position when we spoke on the podcast last time about Serie. Now they've just absolutely smashed it out at the top, 51 points. Close to them is Inter Milan with 47. Just brilliant performance. Once again, Dybala. He's definitely not finished. He's a cracking player. And there's no. Yeah. So it's just been an absolutely just exceptional performance. Hopefully, we'll just continue to see it just more and more.
I think the key question with Laws, obviously he scored a brace at home this week. Obviously, I think that's what a lot of people are referring to, 2-1 against Parma. And I'm not going to obviously lie, so he has. I think people need to realize that Ronaldo for the first time was actually injured. And obviously he's 34, so he's recovering from his injury. It's one of the reasons why his form wasn't necessarily as good. He was playing with it as well. He is now, as you said, he's now started to pick up. I think Sarri's tactics, I think the players, just in response to Entertainment Guru, I think I'm still not overtly convinced on Sarri's tactics, to be honest. I think because of that, I think it might cost him the CL. But if the players do get on board with his tactics, because remember at Chelsea, everyone was cussing Sarri's tactics. Sarri bought awful, woeful manager. And at the end of the day, he still got Chelsea in 4th position and with a Europa League, and was like, "See you later, guys. I basically got you into the top 4. Get your trophy. Take that. Goodbye. See you later." So there's a very good chance that people are cussing the way he plays, but the players get it, and that you never know. Juventus are certainly in there when it comes to potentially Champions League competitors.
Yeah, bang on. Whether it's any of the above, really, because at the end of the day, I think Sarri, he's also not a flop manager. He has proven himself at other teams. I know that he hasn't maybe been outstanding like some of the other managers have been out there, but he's still a really good manager, and you can see what he's doing with the right players, like he has, where hopefully he has exactly what you wanted at Juventus. He can really do some damage out there, and I don't know whether it will cost him the CL, because at the end of the day, they are still one of the main competition in the CL. Yeah. I don't really want to face Juventus, even though I'm really blessed to say that I don't really fear any particular team. But Juventus are one of those teams that you think to yourself, "Wow, strong attack could hurt anyone on their day." So, and that's just testament to Sarri and Cristiano Ronaldo. Just
but not just
CR7.
But not obviously just for now, and obviously a lot of guns have said, but also it seems that even Dybala seems to have sort of stepped up his game. Higuain seems to have picked up a bit of form now, but he's back at Juventus. The midfield as well and defense seems to sort of create some stability. I don't think Buffon is starting, which is a positive. Just reading some of these comments, Raymond says, "Haaland, I don't think Haaland wants to come." Is that you, Josh, or the eating or something like that? I don't know. Anyway, I don't think Haaland wants to come to United in the first place. The media just exaggerates it. United is not some Disneyland. He just lets Ollie talk to him out of courtesy. And then Arpit says, "Ronaldo is now becoming the contender for European Golden Shoe Boot. What's your thought? Previous season, he scored 21 goals in Serie A, currently 16 goals in 17 appearances." I'm not entirely sure whether what's his statistic compared to Lewandowski? Because I anticipate Lewandowski has probably scored a few more goals than Ronaldo. Same thing with Messi. So, but I think you're right. He's certainly a contender there. I think the question is whether he can still maintain that form for the rest of the season, which we think he can. What do you guys think? Oh, Shawnee?
Yeah. I got you. Yeah, so like, he has. Yeah, once again, I would never rule him out. So I'm guessing you did break up there for a little bit. Are we still talking about Cristiano Ronaldo?
We're still talking about Cristiano Ronaldo. Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, if that chatter keeps happening, he'll take that on himself, and you just like go, okay, watch this then. You know, it's not over by any means. He will continue just to perform throughout the season. He was just back from injury. Yeah, age might have a little bit has a little bit of a role to play at that age. But he's firing at all cylinders again. It's going to be just great to watch him. I think he's back to his best, or the best that he can be. And it's just going to be brilliant just to watch him going forward. He's going to be great. Champions League. He always performs well in the Champions League. You can always count on him. He's going to be brilliant. I'm looking forward to it. And this is what we do. This is why we watch football, because people like Messi, Cristiano Ronaldo are just out there entertaining, smashing goals in from left, right, and center. It's just absolutely wonderful to watch. Can't wait. I'm glad that he is back. I never believed any of that, like that he's washed up and that's it. It's like game, set, match for him, hanging his boots up. Or I never for one minute. I said that on a previous podcast as well. When the newspaper chat that was happening, it's just like no way. You just watch him come back to this, and he thrives on that negativity, and he just turns it around. Yeah, just absolutely fun. Yeah, he's going to be brilliant to watch. Definitely, you'll get another at least season, maybe 2 seasons out of him before he maybe thinks to himself, all right, I might think about going on a permanent holiday.
Well, that's just 38, and he hasn't gone on a permanent holiday, has he? He's come back to Serie A.
That'll be interesting, wouldn't it? Juventus versus AC Milan.
Yeah. Ronaldo versus Ibrahimovic, man. So, and to be fair, since Ibrahimovic has come back, AC Milan have started winning. So there you go. So sometimes, like if you have some, it's a mental thing sometimes, and if you have the mentality, you'll keep on going. I love Bianca says CR7 scores 29 goals, still 18 games left in Serie A, some Coppa Italia, some UCL matches. European Cup 2020. Can he score 50 goals in a season for club and country? Absolutely.
No.
Oh, Josh says no. Why do you say no?
50 goals in a season, club and country. Oh, I didn't say the country bit.
Yeah,
it probably isn't.
So it'll be.
I can't argue with that.
21 goals.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
They've got it's Euro 2020, so.
And we know that Cristiano Ronaldo turns it up when the UCL knockout stages happens. I still, for life of me, can't understand how he scored a hat-trick against Atletico Madrid last season. It was just like, yep, we're done. That's basically a hat-trick against Atletico Madrid, so he just sort of, and I think because Juve are playing, who are they playing again? It's not, is it Napoli? No, it's not. It can't be.
Juve are playing someone easy, but I forgot who it was.
Exactly.
It's not Leon, but it actually is it Leon?
No, I think it might be Leon actually. Yes. So you'd expect that they would get through for the group stages. You're not run out to get a few goals from there, and then we get into quarterfinal stage, and anything's possible, obviously. So I guess we'll see what happens in this space. But Mr. Lopez says Juve versus Lyon and UCL. Thank you very much for that. Thank you. Yeah. So you expect Juve to get through on that. and then from there, anyone knows. As long as they don't drawn against Liverpool, anything can happen.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I mean, just as good as a chance as anybody else, really, if not better, because of the attack.
Okay. Right, let's quickly. Thanks for Ronaldo. We're going to quickly move on from Cristiano Ronaldo. So quickly just have a conversation about another potentially good player, and then we'll just talk about Valverde in a second. And this is this man. I'll just quickly get it up, and it's basically it's Cavani. It is Edison Cavani of PSG. He has handed in a transfer request. And basically said he wants to leave the club. What does that mean for PSG? Especially going into their UCL round of 16 game where they'll be playing and get a Dortmund side that have obviously been revitalized with the signing regarding Haaland. Do PSG have enough? Where do you see Cavani going? What's everyone's thoughts?
Well, Cavani's not getting played, so I mean, to push Edison Cavani out of the team must be, pretty impressive. Icardi's like he's a bit of a villain at Inter Milan after everything that was going on off the pitch. And Icardi's a great striker. You've got Neymar there, Di Maria, Sarabia, etc. And Mbappe's like playing striker as well now sometimes, so it's like interchanging. And like it's kind of sad because Cavani, he's 32. Like you'd think, damn, this would be my chance to, possibly go get a Champions League final, maybe even win it. PSG could be heavily
probably his last chance.
Yeah, so he's probably thinking, if I'm not getting played, let me go to a Champions League side where I get regular football. Or if worst comes to worst, just decide that where I get regular football, I can be the main guy. But someone needs to snatch him up quickly because he's a great player. We know what Zlatan did at 35 in the Premier League. So what's Edison Cavani going to do at 32? He's a monster of a man.
Still fit, and he's still really fit.
Would you have him at Arsenal?
Absolutely, over Lacazette. Kidding me? All day.
All day. All day.
Do you have him United?
No.
Oh.
Yeah, I mean, the desperation part to me says, if we could get him on loan for 6 months, then yes. But I think it's a long-term thing with the way the United are right now. It just doesn't make sense for us to go for it's a short-term signing. Just like Ibrahimovic was, it's a short-term signing, and we need long-term signings. And the other thing I think as well is that I've always had issues with players coming from like the French league into the Premier League. We're going to very, very fast-paced league and environment, and whether they can actually adapt to that quickly. Edison Cavani is very much a target man, goal finisher type of sort of player from what I can see. Good technique, good skill, good quality. But with a United side that can't create chances, I just don't know whether he would thrive in the United team. I can see how he would thrive in an Arsenal team, definitely.
Yeah. United, I think, could have Cavani, who sometimes does play on the left for PSG, creating chances as well. You could have him in that kind of role. Yeah. Because even though he doesn't, it's not his best position. It could be something that does help United. It's just what's he going to ask in terms of wages? And I know that United isn't maybe bothered about the money, but it still matters, especially if you want to do things in the summer. If you want to get players in the summer, you've already got Cavani there on big money. Then that might hinder your chances of getting somebody that's they're going to be there long term. So if he does come to United, all of the above matters. How much for? What does he want? And then you can maybe start talking and think to yourself, all right, why don't you support Martial out on the right or the left? Or do you think that Martial and some of the United wingers can supply him with enough to score the goals. It's a possibility. He creates space. Every defenders are going to be worried about him.
Yeah.
He's a big presence up front there. He'd be brilliant at United, I reckon. Arsenal, yeah, brilliant. I mean, Lacazette, I don't think would get a shout anymore. Aubameyang, Cavani, yeah, that would be a fantastic combination. If he's happy to sit on the bench for Liverpool, just behind Origi, Firmino, Salah, and Mane, then I'd have him at Liverpool.
You keep your hands off.
Well, with people think that Mbappe want potentially, that's a thing. So I mean, as soon as I was reading that Mbappe considering Liverpool, Madrid. So if Mbappe goes to Liverpool, then the Premier League will literally become La Liga 2.0. That is literally what is going to happen. If Mbappe even sniffs of going to, he's already fast as it is. So when you have Klopp, that just can't happen. It can't happen for the good of
it's honestly, it's just what 350 million. That's 350,000 a week. He's on. It's too much.
True, but it'll depend on like, because obviously he hasn't signed a new contract yet. So obviously if he as soon as he and it depends on him as well. So, but
it does.
Watch this space. Anyway, I'll quickly move on because we're running out a bit of time. I want to quickly talk about Valverde and then just for you the upcoming Premier League fixtures. So, as obviously everyone sort of knows, already knows by now, Barcelona this week sacked their manager Ernesto Valverde, who I think when we actually did our Banter FC Academy nominations, I think Valverde was at least in tier 3. I think, from what I remember, he was tier 3 at least. But there was an argument, and he was sacked. But there was an argument. So I'll get rid of Cavani and PSG thing. But there was an argument you had that at the end of the day, Valverde still had Barcelona, competing for the title, still had them qualifying for the Champions League, and a strong team. Were Barcelona right to have sacked him? And do you think this is and the second question I'll get to is, do you think that this is actually the end of an era for Barcelona? Like, it's not just Valverde, but actually this era of Barcelona is coming to an end.
Well, Messi's getting old, man, and they haven't really found a successor for him.
Griezmann?
Who?
They could get Neymar back.
They could get who?
Neymar back if they wanted.
Yeah, that's literally their only hope. Because Neymar is like he's a one club player at the end of the day. I think Neymar is probably the difference. You could get one more year out of Suarez, probably. Couple of years more at Messi, and then Neymar would be there to just Neymar's 23, 24, and he's so that for me that's the difference. They got to get him back. That's the only person I could see who would change that.
I think he's actually slightly older now. I think he's like 27. Yeah. I can check for you, but I'm fairly sure he's ever so slightly older. I could be wrong on that, but he is 27.
Jeez, time flies, huh?
It does, indeed. I think that it'll be interesting to see what Barcelona can do, and I do think that in a similar way to Manchester United, that there are issues.
I just want to quickly chime in and say in February, so in just 2.5 weeks time, he'll be 28.
Is this Neymar we're talking about, right?
Yeah, sorry, Neymar.
Yeah. If he doesn't get injured again, if he doesn't get injured, and people say he's the best player and one of the best players in the world, and no one's talking about like Salah or Mane, and they're they're younger. It's interesting. Very, 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 very interesting. So yeah, I just think that with Valverde, I just think that clearly tactically they didn't seem to know what he was doing, But I do think the impression I get is that with Barcelona as a football club and that there seems to be deeper issues. There seems to be deeper issues at the club. And when you spend essentially $500 million in recruitment in the last 3 years, and yet you're not even sniffing a Champions League, a CL.
Yeah, that's careless, That's careless. Just to go and just like go, well, we want him, just like because they're the kind of like the informed players at the time. It's just careless. Coutinho, good example. Okay, he was thriving in Liverpool. Yeah, it's like it's a different league though, and just going around just snapping everybody up. It's kind of what Real Madrid does. It's like oh, I want the latest toy. And they'll just go and splash the cash on just getting the latest, whoever scored the goal of the month. And they're just like getting at the club and it's not working out. Honestly, it's careless buying, and they put themselves in a position where, yeah, like you say, it looks ridiculous statistically, and they've got themselves into a bit of a mess. They need to like focus down, carefully start planning a route forward on how to rebuild the team that they need to dominate La Liga again. Otherwise, it's just it's rough. It really is.
True.
Okay, so we'll just finish with. So we're going to finish now. Thanks for input on Valverde. We're going to just quickly just do a brief preview just regarding the. So I'm meeting Mike. I hear a bit of echo from someone's mic about my we're just going to quickly do just a preview. Obviously, this week there are games on Tuesday and Wednesday, so the players don't have enough time to rest. So I'll just quickly get that up right here so everyone can see the upcoming game week. Okay, so everyone should basically be seeing it now. So I'm going to quickly go to start with Joshy. If you can hear me, Josh. Aston Villa versus Watford. What do you think?
Well, I want Villa to win. Watford haven't lost since they're changing manager, which is, they lost to Liverpool, but that doesn't count. That's Liverpool. They've won all of their games, I believe, apart from they drew in the FA Cup. And then they just drew to Spurs, which was weird. Deeney should have scored the penalty, the fraud. I'd want to say Watford win this game. And
it's going to be a brilliant game, by the way.
I agree.
Because whoever wins that is going to go back into the relegation zone.
Yeah, exactly.
It's just going to be a fantastic game.
I think Watford have got it. They just don't look like. That Sarr guy, I know he might be injured, but I think Watford have got too much for them at this minute. Watford is a sort of informed team. I know Villa just won. Did they just win?
They won their last. No, they drew their last game. Sorry. Yeah.
Watford drew against Spurs. That was the last game. Yes.
No, sorry, Villa.
Oh, Villa drew as well.
They drew Everton. Yeah, that's what happened.
Yeah, and Grealish scored that stunner.
Yeah.
So I think Watford have got too much for them. I'm gonna go 2-0 Watford. So yeah.
No response from Villa.
No.
All
Jack
right.
Grealish already scored a goal, so he's not going to score on the next one.
Well, he scored 2 in the last 2 games.
Oh yeah. Well, now his time's up.
Okay, let's quickly move on. So Shawnee, Bournemouth at home to Brighton. I think this is a very big game for Bournemouth, to be honest.
Oh my days, yeah. Bournemouth, it's just an absolute must-win just to lift their spirits a little bit because they've had.
What was Steve Cook doing? Someone explain to me what
it was
too early in the game as well, just to go ahead and do that.
He just like essentially, Joshua. Just so you know, people know in the comments. Like, he basically became a goalkeeper.
Saved it. Yeah.
Goal, saved it. He didn't save, but the problem is Steve Cook is not the goalkeeper for Bournemouth. And
what was he doing that for?
I don't know. Like he stretches out his hand. You're like,
I don't think he knew.
How early in the game was it?
20 minutes, I think.
20 odd minutes. Yeah.
Strange.
Yeah, it was mad. Really rough form. I think the last success that they saw was they had a draw 4 games ago or something like that. No, 5 games ago, and then they had 4 draws, 4 losses. Sorry.
Yeah.
So just absolutely disastrous for Bournemouth, who were actually doing quite well just before Christmas.
Yeah, etc. But
you're
right. So, what's your score prediction?
Absolute must win for Bournemouth. Whether it's going to happen or not, they are at home. Brighton, really tough to break down. I'm going to give them a draw. I'm just going to say 1-1. 1-1. Bournemouth 1, Brighton 1.
Okay. Cool. Okay. Crystal Palace, Southampton, from my point of view, and I'll keep this brief because obviously we're running a bit out of time. Crystal Palace obviously did quite well to get a draw against City. They've got that fight, and I do rate Roy Hodgson as a manager who's basically been able to get quite a lot out of this Crystal Palace side of what he's had. Southampton have also had a big turnaround. I think they're a bit naive when they lost to Wolves last week and conceding 3 goals in the second half. So I think this is going to be an interesting contest. But the part of me that feels that this is also going to, I think there'll be goals, but I think it'll be a draw. So I'm going to go 1-1 with possibly a Zaha and a Ings goal. So 1-1.
I think so too. But yeah, I agree. Draw definitely.
Back to you, Josh. Everton, Newcastle.
I've Everton in this one. Newcastle just got that late winner against was it Chelsea? But Everton are playing really well right now, and they're scoring quite a decent amount of goals.
Calvert-Lewin.
Yeah, he's a great player, really, really good player. He was in that under 20, the under 17s, the under whatever's that won that the World Cup. Or Euros or whatever it was. Yeah, I think I'll get Everton in this one. They got too much for Newcastle. I think Newcastle got a few injuries as well. Jethro Williams out for the season. That's a bit of a blow for them. Don't really have like a backup left back. I mean, Matt Ritchie, but he's really a left midfielder. But yeah, I'll go with Everton 2-0.
Okay. Shawnee sort of moving on. So this is the big one, and I will go back to Team Takagi in a second, next game. Who's that? Your mic. Sheffield United versus Manchester City. Shawnee.
4-0 to Sheffield. No, I think I've backed City every single time when I had the score prediction to make on City's behalf. And I've always thought to myself, no, City are now in a pivotal part of the season where, they just have to just keep winning to maintain any kind of pressure on the number 1 spot. I don't know, like they just seem to look rough a lot of the time. I think it's going to be a really, really tough game for them. I don't want to go with a boring draw again, but at the same time, I don't think they're going to lose. So I'm going to go with a 2-1 win to City.
Okay, fair enough. Right, okay. Back to Joshy, and it's the big game here. Chelsea versus Arsenal at 8:15 tomorrow. Who do you think has it?
Arsenal 2-1.
2-1.
Yeah.
Why do you think that?
Chelsea's home form isn't great. Also looking for retribution. And if I'm honest, and Sheffield are a very good side, and they came to Arsenal and they did well. They probably deserved a draw, but Martinelli seems like he's got a point to prove. His record is very good when he started. he don't be fooled by like the appearances he's had. When he's actually started, like I think he scored from what I remember. Like in quite a lot in quite a lot of his games, he's got like 9 goals this season in all competitions, which is incredible for his first season. And he's in a way, it sounds weird, but he's kind of our main man in terms of goal scoring while Aubameyang's out there. So I think 2-1 Martinelli brace.
Okay, 2-1 Martinelli brace. Fair enough. Okay, I'll give my quick thoughts on Leicester City versus West Ham. Leicester City are going under a bit of a difficult patch. I was very surprised. In fact, I was almost tempted to induct them into Banter Tier 3 after their loss to Burnley over the weekend. They should have really. I don't like the way Burnley play, and Vardy should have scored that. I have Vardy captained. He got 0 form in fantasy football. Almost the whole team, I was tempted to induct them into. They're not there because they're doing beyond what I expected them this season, but they just seem to have hit a rough patch. And West Ham with David Moyes, I just think that he can frustrate them. And it possibly looks like the players are tired. So to be honest, I don't think West Ham have got enough to win. But I think this actually might be a draw. I'm going to go for 1-1 again. 1-1. I just do something a bit off at Leicester right now. And I just think that, that's just how it is right now. With probably a...
It's since that Liverpool result, if you notice.
Yeah.
If you notice, it's since they played Liverpool and we smacked them 4-0. Since then, it's just been topsy-turvy, up and down.
It's strange. It's very, very strange. I'm not entirely sure why, but it could be just because they're tired. And this is where squad depth comes into it, because to be fair, Leicester City have been playing the exact same team, so they have that's been their team that's Sortingson. So eventually at a point, you get tired, there's no momentum, and that's it. So especially not having to play, the games. So right. So Shawnee, Tottenham versus Norwich City.
Yeah, good game again, but like I say, we were talking about Tottenham's form, so like it was a win, 2 draws, 2 losses. I don't think that's going to continue. Tottenham winning this one convincingly. Son with 2 goals. Mora with the other one. 3-1 to Tottenham.
3-1 to Tottenham.
Yeah.
Okay.
Cantwell getting the goal for Norwich because I've got him in my fantasy team.
Fair enough. Fingers crossed. And then essentially it's me, and then we go to you, back to you, Shawnee. So United versus Burnley. I think I've noticed with United this season is that we tend to come back with a bounce when we come from a disappointing result, like against City. We try and go with a bounce. Even though Rashford is out, I think that Ole will, especially when home, especially when being Burnley before, there'll be a bounce from this result. So I do think we're going to beat Burnley at home. Score-wise, it'd be interesting to see who plays, especially because Rashford is out. But I think we will win. But I don't think it'll be a big win. I'm going to be going for 2-0 with Martial and Greenwood to score the goals. So I would recommend certainly putting a United defender in your fantasy, maybe like a cheap Brandon Williams, for example. If you have that or something. To end, because it's a double game week, and we'll end with that just for fantasy football tips. But what do you think about? There's a double game week this week for Liverpool players. Liverpool are going to be playing Wolves away and West Ham away. What do you think, Shawnee? Do you think that? How do you see those games going? Yeah,
tough run, isn't it? Because are we playing in the FA Cup on the weekend as well? I haven't actually checked. Is it replays this weekend?
So February the 1st, it's it's not replays. It's Premier League. So it's just Premier League again. So Liverpool playing Southampton at home on Saturday. So Tuesday, so essentially you've got Liverpool have got 3 games in this week.
That's just absolutely brutal.
You have Thursday.
Thursday against Wolves, and then
Wednesday, and then Saturday on the 1st of February.
Yeah, right. Okay. Yeah. So Okay, fair enough. Yeah. Oh my goodness, that's absolutely brutal, isn't it? But it must be the 23rd of January, 24th, 25th, 26th, 27th, 28th, 29th. So Wednesday the following week. So it's Thursday.
Oh, sorry. Yes, it's following week. Yeah, sorry,
Yeah.
my bad. Yes,
So,
following week. I
so,
got that
so
wrong.
this weekend it's normal Premier League again.
Yes. No, sorry. So I think I think you might right. It might be FA Cup, and then
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I was going to say, and that's what I mean. This weekend, is it the replays or is Liverpool playing on the weekend again? Because if Liverpool's playing on the weekend again, you'd almost have to rest some players.
I think I think it's replays. I don't think it's the
yeah. So Liverpool get a rest through the weekend. That makes sense because otherwise that would have been ridiculously brutal if we were playing 3 games in such a short space of time. All right, yeah, fair enough. Okay, in that case, I don't know because I was just purely going off that by whether Klopp would be resting players or not. So the Wolves game, I think, is going to be the toughest one, even though Moyes is going to try and do a number on us. I'm going to say that Liverpool are going to squeeze a tight 1-0 at Wolves. It is both these games are away as well, so it's going to be quite tense. I think West Ham, dare I say, is going to be not easy, but it's going to be a better place to go than it is going to Wolves. So I'm going to say squeezing a 1-0 out of Wolves away, and then away at West Ham. I think it's going to be a bit more convincing. It's going to be hard fought, but I'll go for 3-0. So like we have that 1-0 cushion, maybe 2-0 late in the second half, and then finish it off with a cherry on top with just another goal just before the final whistle, and a 3-0 at West Ham. 1-0 at Wolves, 3-0 at West Ham.
Cool. Okay, fair enough. Okay, so just lastly, just before we end, just ask us, just everyone this. Who is your, we'll just go for one player. Who is your what is your must pick player for the upcoming game week that you should include in your fantasy football? And go with Josh first.
I'm going with Trent.
Okay.
Obviously Liverpool got a double game week. They've kept clean sheet in 6 now, I think, or 5. I'm not sure. He got this. The Leicester game was just proof that you need to have Trent in your team. He gets clean sheets if he doesn't get an assist, but he gets an assist like 1 in every 3 or 4 games. So, Trent for me, man.
Okay, Shawnee.
Okay, so I'm going to say a bit of a not strange one, but considering the circumstances, maybe I'm just going to go with the flow of everybody else and say chuck Aguero back in, because it seems to be like he's just coming back on fire. And I don't think it's going to lessen. I think he's just going to continue. He's just going to be banging goals in, I think, to the end of the season. So whatever you need to do to swap and change your team, chuck Aguero back in there, even if you need to drop Vardy.
Okay. My thing, maybe Raymond Moore says Lingardinho. Lingardinho, put him in. So I was. Thanks for watching, but I appreciate it. Thanks everyone who's been watching. So we really appreciate your support on the channel. My suggestion is Anthony Martial, and that's long term, because obviously with he's relatively cheap as a midfielder compared to other options. Or even possibly even a Mason Greenwood as a forward, because with Marcus Rashford injured, Mason Greenwood and Anthony Martial are basically going to be starting like a lot of the games, essentially. Yeah. Martial's probably going to be number 9. I think Daniel James will probably be playing on the left, and then Mason Greenwood will be playing on the right. That's probably how they're going to play, unless Pereira comes in. So Greenwood is about 4.5 as a striker.
Oh wow!
And Martial is 7. So I think long-term wise, if you want to get good deals in, especially if you're thinking about using your bench boost chip towards the end, getting either one of those players is not a bad shout.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Okay, so thanks everyone for watching, guys. I said, if you're new to the channel, please like, subscribe to REDEVIL Studio. Thank you for taking part in this podcast. Hopefully, it's been good. You've enjoyed it. It's my Mano Man G. Thank you very much, Josh and Shawnee.
No worries, buddy.
No worries.
Okay,
Yeah,
cool.
thanks everyone for joining.
We will see you guys later. Have a nice day, guys, and cheers. Ending now.